a solid 3 inches of standing water, and even more so over here. That's like a good 5 inches.
It's flooded.
I'm not going for a walk right now. Nope.
Heavy rain in California is threatening flash floods from San Francisco to San Diego, and that is just from one storm. Another more potent storm system is expected over the weekend. I'm Valerie Castro in for Gadi Schwartz, and this is Stay Tuned Now. Today, Southern California got the brunt of that first storm, which is part of the same system that dumped a significant amount of rain across Northern California yesterday. That has left nearly 30 million residents under some kind of weather alert, and state officials worrying about what's ahead. Flash flood warnings went out to parts of Southern California where up to 3 inches of rain are expected. Cars were seen completely submerged in Long Beach. The fast-moving storm brought nonstop rain that essentially turned some freeways into ponds and led to a water rescue in Orange County, where firefighters had to use rafts to rescue a man caught in a storm channel. A storm warning is also in effect for the mountains surrounding Los Angeles and San Bernardino counties, with the highest elevations forecast to get as much as 2 feet of snow. This is a massive storm, which is why it's impacting practically all of California, and it looks like there will not be much of a break before the next storm system moves in this weekend. We have NBC News meteorologist Bill Karen standing by with more on that. But first, let's go to NBC News correspondent Dana Griffin in Los Angeles. Dana, Los Angeles is still recovering from heavy flooding last month. How are things looking out there?
Yeah, Valerie, right now things are looking much drier than this morning. Like you mentioned, the rain was coming down so heavily it was impacting the morning commute. In some areas, there was localized flooding, and some people had to be rescued from their cars, which is, again, a reminder that when you see standing water, you don't want to drive through it. But this is just a reprieve because another storm is on the way. Listen to what one driver described earlier this morning.
This is not a little flood. No, I mean, you see it. Look at the cars. And it's hard to get into your house. I mean, we were lucky we were able to get in, but that's the situation.
Yeah, so we've seen images like that. We've seen some walkways and roadways washed through underneath. So it's obviously very concerning for a lot of people who live in Southern California. You don't get weather like this often, but when it happens, it's a great reminder to slow down and to make sure you're being safe. Valerie?
Dana, California is going to get a small break before the second storm rolls through this weekend. Are people ready?
Yeah. That's a good question. I think this first storm may have been a good reminder that, hey, there's another one coming. So officials have been asking people to get prepared, buy the food items that you need so that Sunday through the start of next week, you have everything you need. They've been asking people if they don't have to hit the roads to stay home. And so you also have to remember this storm is hitting on Sunday. And just because that storm rolls through, it does not mean that the impacts won't be felt. You could have landslides, potential downed trees, localized flooding. So it's important for people to keep a watchful eye. And, you know, I'm one of those people that still has to go to the grocery store to make sure that I've got enough items, enough food, just in case people have to be hunkered down.
All right, Dana, yeah, you should stock up. Earlier this week, officials reported the Sierra snowpack, which supplies about 30% of California's water, was below the normal average. Did the snowfall from this storm help change any of that?
So we probably won't know the answer to that until maybe in another 30 days, either at the end of this month or maybe March 1st, because that's when they do the measurements for the Sierra snowpack, which gives us an indication of how much precipitation fell in particular areas. So, you know, they had a reading also earlier in January. So this is a nice increase. The latest one, which was done just a couple of days ago, I think it's about 52% of average. So obviously we've got a long way to go. And if you remember last year around this time, that snowpack was at some 200% because so much precipitation fell. So obviously here in California, more rain, the better. We just don't like it all at once because it can be dangerous on the roadways. Valerie?
Okay. Dana Griffin, thank you so much. The worst of the storm has passed, but another storm is on the way, as we mentioned. NBC News meteorologist Bill Karen joins us now with the forecast. Hi, Bill.
Well, good evening, Valerie. We're still in the middle of Storm 1. Storm 2 will be moving in late this weekend. Storm 2 is going to be much more problematic. It's a bigger storm. It's got more moisture with it. The ground is soaked because of this first storm. We'll get into those problems coming up. But here's the two storms side by side. The storm that's off the coastline of British Columbia has lost its contact with that atmospheric river, so it's not as intense as it was, say, yesterday at this time. It's still raining pretty good. Storm 2 doesn't look that impressive, but it will develop as we go throughout the next couple of days. So as we look at what's going to happen through the rest of this evening, rain heading through areas of Southern California, just about over with. It'll be raining throughout the evening in areas of Arizona. It's raining right now in the desert areas. By the time we get through the weekend, you notice the snow piling up on the backside of the storm system. Areas in the mountains of Colorado, 1 to 2 feet look likely. Even southern Wyoming's going to get some decent snow. So it's been a decent snow season for some areas of Colorado, but we still are way behind in many other areas of the West. And this is a little sneak peek at Sunday throughout that next storm. We'll talk more about that in a second. So what's left with the storm we're currently dealing with? So we still have flood alerts for about 14 million people. We'll be dropping these as we go throughout the next 12 hours. A lot have already dropped off around the Bay Area. We have winter weather warnings, almost all the high elevations from the Wasatch Range, even northern Arizona. There's the snow in Colorado. So that'll be taking place as we go throughout the next 3 days. And also some wind alerts for West Texas, where gusts could hit up to 60 miles per hour. This is what's left of that heavy rain that was in Los Angeles earlier today and in San Diego, now pushing across the California-Arizona desert. It'll be into areas of Phoenix in about 3 to 4 hours from now. So moving pretty quickly. Additional rainfall and not going to call for a lot of any flooding concerns, maybe 1 to 2 inches here or there. As far as the snow goes, this is going to get interesting as we go throughout the weekend. Notice all the pink. This is a foot, so many areas here. This will be a powder weekend, as they call it, throughout many areas of the West. So as far as Storm 2 goes, now this is the one that we'll be starting to talk a lot about more tomorrow once we get Storm 1 out of the way. This storm comes in Sunday, and this area of heavy rain could be problematic. It looks like Santa Barbara County northwards in central California. That's where this time we picked up 1 to 2 inches of rain. This next storm could be 2 to 4. Maybe 3 to 6, maybe in some of the mountains, 6 to 8 inches of rain on top of the saturated soil. And it lingers, too. This is even into Monday with areas of heavy rain still in Southern California. So the two things, the storm's going to be stronger and it's going to linger and last longer than the Storm 1 we're dealing with today, Valerie. So we'll talk more about this, of course, in the next 24 hours.
Bill Cairns, thank you. Investigators are still trying to figure out what caused a building collapse at an airport hangar in Boise, Idaho that killed 3 people and hurt 9 others. It happened last night. The privately owned airplane hangar was under construction when it collapsed. Boise's fire chief says a crane was placing something on top of the structure at the time it came crashing down. One witness said it was like a house of cards falling. Let's bring in NBC News correspondent Liz Kreutz, who's on the scene for us tonight in Boise. Liz, what more do we know?
Hey, Valerie, yeah, I mean, you can see just how massive this structure is behind us here. This all unfolded around 5 last night. That's when the initial calls came in, and there was a massive police presence that came, first responders. And first responders described it as a really chaotic scene. They were literally pulling victims out of the wreckage. Here's what official with Boise Fire had to say. Take a listen.
I don't know what caused it. But I can tell you that it was a pretty global collapse that occurred. The main structural members came down. It was fairly catastrophic.
And now we know that about 30 people were working here at the time of this collapse, and 12 of them were impacted. Sadly, 3 people died, 9 injured, 5 of them in critical condition. We don't know how they're doing right now. Authorities have not released the identities of the victims. They're really waiting to notify the families first. Valerie.
Liz, of course, it's still early in this investigation, but do we know any more about how this happened? What's the latest?
Yeah, it's just too early to say right now. Authorities are just saying it's all under investigation. There had been some questions about whether weather was a factor. We know there were strong winds at the time of the collapse, but again, we do not know any cause at this time. Law enforcement's been out here all day inspecting the damage, and they have now turned the investigation over to OSHA. Valerie.
All right. NBC's Liz Kreutz, thank you so much. Don't go anywhere. We're just getting started. There's a deadly drug that's become widely available here in the U.S., but it's not on the black market. It's in gas stations and on convenience store shelves. Plus, some of the most popular food brands that you probably have in your house right now are linked back to the country's largest maximum security prison. We'll explain. And if you're using your friends, cousins, coworkers' Hulu login, it might not work for much longer. The company is cracking down on password sharing. That's all just ahead, so stay tuned. Welcome back. Let's take a quick look around the world. During an EU summit in Brussels, European leaders agreed to send $54 billion in aid to Ukraine, overcoming a months-long opposition from Hungary. The unanimous approval by the 27 member nations will help sustain essential services such as health care and pensions. The money will be sent out over 4 years in the form of grants and loans. And right outside of that meeting, scenes of chaos as farmers burned bales of hay, threw eggs, and even firecrackers at police. It's the culmination of protests that started in France and spread to neighboring countries as farmers demand increased pay and protection from competition. Yesterday, the EU announced plans to shield farmers from cheaper imports, and today, leaders proposed other ways to help farmers. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle released a video about cyberbullying prevention. They're urging social media companies to reduce the amount of harmful content children see online, echoing calls from families who sat in the audience of a Senate hearing on Capitol Hill this week. In a joint statement on their website, the Sussexes said it's time to make necessary changes at the source to keep our children safe. And thousands of sheep and cattle are stranded off the coast of Australia after their ship was turned away due to the worsening security situation in the Red Sea. According to Australian officials, the attacks by Iran-backed Houthi rebels have disrupted maritime traffic in the Red Sea, causing shipping delays and other issues. Officials are determining next steps to see if the animals can be re-exported, but veterinarians say they are in good health. We're following breaking news in Turkey. A hostage situation that was allegedly carried out in protest of the Israel-Hamas war is over. Turkish officials confirm 7 people are now safe after they were taken hostage inside a Procter & Gamble factory in northwest Turkey for hours. A suspect is also in custody. Let's bring in NBC News foreign correspondent Megan Fitzgerald from London. Megan, what do we know about what happened here and how is Procter & Gamble responding?
Yeah, well, this all happened in the middle of the day in a province that's just outside of Istanbul. According to the local governor, the suspect entered the factory through the main entrance, but before going inside, he beat up the security guards, and the governor confirms that this guy had a weapon. Now, a relative of a hostage who spoke to local media said that the gunman then fired multiple shots in the air before taking the workers hostage. All of these employees are said to be Turkish nationals. Now, of course, it is important to note that this turned into a rescue mission for police after negotiations broke down. But again, all of these hostages are said to be safe and unharmed, and that suspect is behind bars tonight.
And Megan, do we know any more about a possible motive in all of this?
Well, the governor has confirmed that the suspect's demands were to stop the war in Gaza. In fact, I want you to take a look at this video from Reuters, though NBC News has not been able to independently verify. It appears to show a gun on the table and spray painting on the wall, showing a Turkish and Palestinian flag with words in Turkish that says, "The doors will be open to Gaza, either coffin or death." Now, we do know that there has been a rise in anti-American and anti-Israeli feelings in Turkey since the Israel-Hamas war broke out. But while P&G is a U.S. company, we understand there were no Americans that were involved in this incident.
Okay, Megan Fitzgerald, thank you. Overnight, the U.S. struck multiple Houthi targets in Yemen as the Pentagon prepares for a larger reprisal campaign against Iran-backed militias in the region. It comes after a drone attack killed 3 American soldiers at a U.S. military base in Jordan on Sunday. At a press conference earlier, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin did not provide details about the location of those targets or when the strikes will begin.
This is a dangerous moment in the Middle East, and we will respond when we choose, where we choose, and how we choose.
NBC News Pentagon correspondent Courtney Kuby has more from Bahrain.
It's been a busy day off the coast of Yemen today. Iranian-backed Houthi rebels launched at least 3 different attacks. The first one, a drone, was shot down by U.S. military forces before it was able to strike anything. The second one was a sea-based drone called an unmanned surface vessel, or USV. The U.S. was able to destroy that. But in addition to those 2, the Houthis also launched off 2 anti-ship cruise missiles. Now, they were fired, they landed in the water, and they did not impact anything. But that's 4 attacks by Houthi rebels in just one day. Now, this all comes as the U.S. continues continues to prepare for possible retaliatory strikes against some other Iranian-backed militias who the U.S. believes are responsible for a deadly attack against Americans last weekend in Jordan. 3 U.S. soldiers were killed, 41 others were injured, including at least one who was very seriously injured. All week long, we've been hearing from Biden administration officials that they are planning for retaliatory action. But it's coming a little bit more into focus what that could look like. U.S. officials telling us that we should expect this to look similar to previous retaliatory strikes, except for bigger. We should expect more locations and potentially more strikes than we've seen in the past. In addition to that, officials are now calling this a campaign, saying it could last days or even weeks.
Courtney Kuby in Bahrain for us. Thank you. Coming up, some of the food in your pantry right now may be linked back to the country's largest maximum security prison. Details on the sweeping investigation behind that is straight ahead. But first, you gotta see this. A Florida man is now in custody after stealing a beloved Snoop Dogg bobblehead from a restaurant this week. Video surveillance shows the dog napper snatching the statue, then dropping it like it was hot and fleeing the scene. Guess he realized that wasn't really a G-thing and returned the bobblehead to the restaurant. While the bobblehead bandit is now facing a charge of grand theft. We'll keep you updated on the next episode. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Here are some of the other headlines we're watching tonight. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin apologized for how he handled his cancer diagnosis, saying he should have told the president. Austin returned to the Pentagon this week after being hospitalized last month. He had complications from a procedure to treat prostate cancer. At the time, he left President Biden in the dark, later receiving widespread calls to resign. Police in Chicago are stepping up patrols after a shooting killed a teenager outside of a school. 2 others were hurt in the shooting yesterday. This is the second time this week a teenager was killed by gun violence in the city. The MLB says it's going to replace the statue of Jackie Robinson that was stolen and burned last week. The statue was literally cut off at its base in Wichita, Kansas, and found burned on Tuesday. The new statue will actually be remade using the original mold. Crews at Houston's Bush Intercontinental Airport had to clean up a foamy mess there. Apparently, some sort of fire suppression foam filled a hangar and spilled onto a road. It made quite an incredible scene. Luckily, travelers weren't impacted and flights continued as normal. And Formula One champion Lewis Hamilton says he's leaving Mercedes at the end of this year. The 7-time champion is going to Ferrari, a move that shocked the motorsports world. Hamilton was under contract with Mercedes and had to activate a release clause to sign the new deal. Another jaw-dropping day in what's already a landmark trial. Jennifer Crumbley, the mother charged in a school shooting carried out by her son, took the stand in her own defense. Today, Crumbley presented herself to the jury as a caring parent who says she had no idea her then 15-year-old son Ethan was struggling with his mental health and about to turn violent. She and her husband James both face involuntary manslaughter charges tied to their son's deadly rampage at Oxford High School in November of 2021. Ethan Crumbley is now serving life in prison on murder and terrorism charges.
I've asked myself if I would have done anything differently, and I wouldn't have.
If you could change what happened, would you?
Oh, absolutely. I wish he would have killed us instead.
NBC News correspondent Maggie Vespa joins me now from Michigan. Maggie, take us through Jennifer's testimony today.
Yeah, Valerie, it was really interesting. It was really all-encompassing, frankly. I mean, we started off hearing about just Jennifer Crumbley as a person. She's a marketing director. She loves snow skiing and horses. And then we started slowly hearing about her relationship with her son. She says she thought they had a close relationship. He could come to her about anything. They had a good rapport going back and forth. She, was engaged on things like his grades, helping make sure he turned in his homework assignments. But then she also started talking about sort of his mental health struggles, saying that it seemed limited to him worrying about what he's going to do after high school. Is he going to go to college, go into the military? Are his grades going to prohibit him from doing that because he was struggling a little bit? She said she really had no idea that he was struggling with violent thoughts. She says that the school wasn't communicative enough, nearly, in her mind about that, and that when she found out later that there had been communications between the dean of students and teachers that Ethan had had, the guidance counselor, for instance, she said she was absolutely stunned and couldn't imagine how she could have missed these warning signs. Here's part of the testimony that we heard earlier today.
As a parent, you spend your whole life trying to protect your child from other dangers. You never would think you have to protect your child from harming somebody else.
Jennifer Crumbley was asked at one point by her attorney if she considers herself a victim in this case. It was an awkward moment. There was a pregnant pause, and then she basically said, I don't want to, I mean no disrespect to sort of the true victims in this case, but she told the jury we have, meaning her family has, lost everything. So it was an emotional day, Valerie, and we expect to hear a lot more from her tomorrow.
Maggie, any other evidence or moments that have stood out to you so far?
Sure. So, I mean, earlier today, before Jennifer Crumbley took the stand, basically the entire morning, it was perhaps the most emotional day we've seen at this point. We've had multiple sort of law enforcement officers on the stand, but today we had an officer who was at the high school. A lot of the officers he works with had to run into the school to stop the shooter, and they played, to really drill down the sort of horror of that moment, surveillance video of officers having to run past wounded students on the ground to stop Ethan Crumbley. The officer on the stand cried, talking about that, saying in that moment, even when you see someone wounded, if the shooting is continuing, if you said the killing is continuing, you essentially can't stop to help the wounded. You have to effectively eliminate the threat, was the way he put it. They played that video. Several people in the courtroom cried. Jennifer was crying. Her lawyer was crying. Multiple jurors were crying. It was really the most sort of emotional moment that we've had thus far, so much so that the judge then called for a break in the case. And it was only about an hour later that Jennifer Crumbley took the stand. So it was a really dramatic setup for, again, this jaw-dropping testimony that we're seeing from the defendant in this case today. So just, yeah, a lot of standout moments, but that, Valerie, was a big one.
Okay, Maggie Vespa, thank you so much. Now to an investigation just released by the Associated Press, shedding light on the connection between the U.S. prison system and forced labor. According to the report, goods produced by American prisoners, sometimes for pennies, are found, quote, on the shelves of virtually every supermarket in the country. One former prisoner interviewed by the AP described it as, quote, slavery.
He's turning Tyson's Foods. He's turning into Tyson Foods.
A hidden, intricate web links hundreds of popular food brands to work done by U.S. prisoners. A 2-year Associated Press investigation found that everything from grains, meat, eggs, and milk had been grown, harvested, or produced by incarcerated people. And their labor finds its way into the supply chains of some of the most recognized brands and largest food companies in the world.
These types of agricultural programs are being run at prisons across the country. Dozens of them generate revenue. Those are the green dots you see there on your screen. One penitentiary highlighted by the AP is the state prison in Angola, Louisiana. A prison spokesperson there pushed back on the slavery comparison, saying Angola has transformed with large-scale criminal justice reforms. The official pointed to other programs like educational and spiritual options that prisoners can choose from. NBC's Lester Holt met with one prisoner who took that route back in 2019. Watch.
What is it like to serve time in the same prison that your father was executed in?
At first, it was embarrassing. I just knew I had to do something different than just do time and die in prison. I was able to go to the seminary. I graduated with a BA, 3.91 average in 2013. I was selected to be a social mentor.
Joining me now is Robin McDowell. She and her colleague Margie Mason are the authors of this sweeping investigation. Robin, welcome. Thanks for joining us this evening. The story that we just heard, that's just one example, right? What did your investigation find on a broader scale about the experiences at Angola and prisons that have these agricultural programs across the country?
Well, we discovered mainly that people are being forced to work for pennies, sometimes nothing at all. And that really these, in our opinion, are some of the most vulnerable workers, because if they refuse to work, they can be punished. That can mean being sent to solitary confinement. It can mean losing the chance at parole. And if they get hurt, they really have very few protections at all. They're not protected by basic things like the Fair Labor Standards Act if they're injured. And if they're killed, the Prison Labor Reform Act makes it very difficult to sue.
And we're hearing comparisons to slavery. Let's remind people what the 13th Amendment says about slavery. Quote, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Robin, what can be done if this is enshrined in our Constitution?
Well, I think people need to remember, a lot of things that are legal are not necessarily right. We can look directly at slavery. Efforts are underway now to make changes to that, to the amendment, and also similar language in state constitutions. I guess that is a start. There are also efforts to try to get people who are working behind bars or as part of work release programs to at least get paid fairly and to be protected.
We know this investigation calls out really large companies like McDonald's, Whole Foods, General Mills. Do they know what is happening, and have they responded to your reporting?
Well, just to make a distinction between how these goods are ending up in the supply chains of some of these biggest products. Some big companies buy directly from big prison farms and others through third-party suppliers. So I think it depends on how closely they are connected to the actual initial purchase, whether or not they know.
Did anything surprise you during your research as you conducted this investigation, and where do you see this going in the future?
I think really what surprised us most was the lack of protections if something went wrong. I think there are a lot of things to continue looking at in this area, things that I can't really talk about here, but this is really a rich area for investigation.
Mm-hmm. Robin McDowell, we really appreciate your reporting on this very interesting investigation. Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Thank you.
President Biden is set to visit East Palestine, Ohio this month as the one-year mark approaches of that major train derailment there. Do you remember that? The derailment spilled toxic materials into the town, forcing thousands to evacuate their homes. Almost a year later, residents say the impacts are far from over as new documents from the National Transportation Safety Board are shedding some light on the investigation into how this all happened. NBC News correspondent Stephen Romo has more.
I didn't realize you worked this close to the ground zero, as you called it. What was it like the day it happened?
Well, I was there. It was a regular day. I work in the little convenience store.
Christina Dilworth, born and raised in East Palestine, Ohio, worked just yards from the site of the train disaster, where federal investigators say a failed wheel bearing caused 38 cars to derail, some bursting into flames and leaking hazardous chemicals. Fortunately, there were no reported fatalities.
The volatile and dangerous scene forcing first responders and investigators to stay back.
Now, a year later, Dilworth hoped coming back to her house would feel more like coming home.
But I have a feeling it's not going to be back to normal, ever. I always feel like we're like the forgotten town. A lot of people just thought that they don't hear anything on the news, so they think it's all done and over and then cleaned up. And it's like, no, it's far from being over.
The crash, a flashpoint for the Biden administration in the days after Republicans vocal in their criticism.
The fact that these chemicals are still seeping in the ground is an insult to the people who live in East Palestine.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg called out for not going to the site for 3 weeks. Biden responding that investigators were there quickly.
Within 2 hours of that derailment, the EPA was in there.
And the administration pushing a door-to-door wellness check program. Now, coming back to this door, Dilworth has a heavy heart.
It was where we had all our family gatherings, and of course, here's the family china.
Health-wise, are you concerned just being here?
Yes, I am concerned. I've already been exposed, because in the beginning, I was getting coughing, sore throat, rashes, nausea, sick, and it seems to have cleared up now since I've gone to the hotel. But since I've come back from the hotel, I've been sick the whole time.
An October 2023 EPA report saying almost no contaminants related to the derailment have been found at concerning levels in the air since February 2023 and in surface streams since May 2023, adding that, quote, to date, residential groundwater wells have not been affected.
Chris, how are you?
Chris Hunsinger manages the Norfolk Southern remediation site near the derailment location. He says the cleanup portion largely wrapped up late last year, and much of the work now is restoration.
A lot of people asking why it took so long. What was the biggest challenge at this site?
It's a complex site, but everything we do, we've got to work with the regulators to get done correctly.
Hunsinger says the contaminated areas had to be divided into grids, tested, and given the all clear one segment at a time, checking for the chemicals that spilled. Crews also dug culverts and installed pump systems, which are still removing contaminated stormwater, which is stored in massive blue containers nearby.
Our goal here, certainly from the environmental standpoint, is to bring it back so you didn't even know where the event happened.
How much of the focus of this has been about the water?
I mean, a very large part of the focus has been the water. We knew, the water should no longer be affected. And now we're in the process of doing the testing and the analysis to confirm that water is not affected.
Dilworth's mind has been on water, too. State environmental regulators say it's safe to drink from the tap, but she's still afraid.
This is why I have all these bottles of water. I don't even know what it's like to drink out of the faucet anymore.
And she wonders just how close to normal things will ever return.
I'm hoping 10 years from now that, oh, yeah, okay, everything's fine, everybody's safe, but in the back of my mind, I think, are we going to start developing illnesses?
Stephen Romo, thank you. This weekend, Texas Governor Greg Abbott says he plans to gather over a dozen Republican colleagues at the southern border to talk about how his state will stop migrants from entering the U.S. The announcement comes just hours after Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis said he'd send National Guard troops to Texas.
I don't want to be part of the federal government trying to tear down these barriers and let more people in illegally. This is crazy that this is the case.
And now, a Christian nationalist trucker convoy that calls itself God's Army says it's also heading to the southern border this weekend. All of this is happening as a bipartisan border bill faces opposition from some Senate Republicans who say they will not vote for it. NBC News correspondent David Noriega has more.
Senators from both parties right now hard at work trying to address the humanitarian crisis at the border, working up a bill that could give President Biden the power to shut down the border to asylum seekers. But a growing number of Republicans say they won't back it. Why? They claim the bill would allow 5,000 migrants to illegally cross the border per day.
Apparently, we're concocting some sort of deal to allow the president to shut down the border after 5,000 people break the law.
A claim that's made its way to former President Trump.
5,000 people a day, that's a lot. That's like record-setting stuff.
But that's not quite what the bill is going to say. That's according to our Capitol Hill team, which has spoken with negotiators who are finalizing the details before they release the full text of the legislation. Right now, when migrants cross the border illegally, most are apprehended and released into the U.S. while they await a court hearing, a process some critics refer to as catch and release. This bill is expected to end that practice. Instead, migrants who cross the border would be detained, and they'd wait out a court hearing from a jail or other holding facility. That's where the 5,000 number comes from. If Border Patrol apprehends more than a daily average of 5,000 migrants crossing illegally in a week, it would require the Department of Homeland Security to start turning away all migrants who cross illegally, regardless of whether they're seeking asylum. If that happens, crossings would need to get to less than 75% of the number that triggered the shutdown over 7 days. But what about asylum seekers, people fleeing persecution in their home countries? They're not out of luck if the border is closed. Up to 1,400 of them can have their claims considered every day, but only by crossing at legal ports of entry. And someone who tries to cross the border illegally twice while the border is shut down could get banned from entering the U.S. for up to a year. The bill's negotiators say this whole plan would raise the standards for asylum and discourage illegal crossings. And all the rhetoric around that 5,000 number, even getting some Republicans frustrated.
Number one, I would never agree to that, but it's also just a total mischaracterization of the bill.
I'm extremely disappointed in the very strange maneuvering by many on the right to torpedo a potential border reform bill. That's what we all ran on doing.
As for the White House,
Mr. President, some House Republicans are calling the border deal a non-starter. Can you get it done?
Mr. President, are you doing enough to try?
Perhaps just a hint of optimism, rooting for Congress to come to a solution.
David Noriega, thank you. Still to come, the FDA is warning about so-called gas station heroin. We'll tell you about the dangers of a drug found in over-the-counter elixirs and pills and why it's still on the shelves. That's straight ahead, so stay tuned. Welcome back. Here are some of the stories happening out west that we're following. Taggers have covered nearly 30 floors of an unfinished high-rise with graffiti in downtown Los Angeles, right across the street from where the LA Lakers play. The building was supposed to be $1 billion mixed-use retail and luxury apartment complex, but construction stalled in 2019 when the developer ran out of money. The LAPD says it's working on ways to better secure the site and remove the graffiti. It's still unclear how those responsible gained entry into the site. Oregon officials have declared a state of emergency in downtown Portland over its fentanyl crisis. Yesterday's declaration calls for a 90-day period where state and local leaders will connect people to treatment while cracking down on drug sales. And it's official. The Los Angeles Chargers just welcomed its new head coach, Jim Harbaugh. Here's a snippet of his press conference in Inglewood, California, earlier today.
We're going to earn our winning. Don't let the powder blues fool you. That's what we're going to aspire to do.
This marks a new era for the team, which just wrapped up a tough losing season. At least 4 people in Washington state have tested positive for a rare and possible deadly fungal infection. It's known as Candida auris and tends to infect those with weak immune systems. The fungus was first identified in Japan in 2009. The U.S. began reporting cases in 2016, and there's been a steady increase in cases since, over 5,000 in the U.S. alone. The CDC says the fungus represents a serious global threat. NBC News medical contributor Dr. Vin Gupta joins us now. Dr. Gupta, we've been keeping track of this fungal infection, right? But give us a reminder, what is it and how exactly does it spread?
Well, Valerie, exactly as you pointed out, this is an emerging infectious disease. It's a new type of fungus, a type of yeast that is resistant to common antifungal therapies like fluconazole that some of your viewers may know. And that's why it's worrisome. But to be clear, healthy people, this is not a threat to healthy people. This is a threat to patients that may end up going from a hospital to a long-term care facility, like a pulmonary weaning facility if they're on a ventilator or require a trach. That's the type of complex care patient that's at risk for this, that might be coming off of a long hospitalization. That's where we're really worried about vulnerability. That's who's actually being impacted.
Now that we know that this is on our radar, what are some of the symptoms of this infection, and what should you do if you do think you have it?
Well, you know, it's like flu in some cases. If this gets into the bloodstream, that's when we're really worried about sepsis from this type of infection. It can get into the lungs, cause pneumonia. Again, a flu-like prodrome of symptoms, high fevers, lethargy, maybe even a skin rash. Especially for somebody who's in a long-term care facility, they need to get tested. A lot of the reason why we're seeing that increase in cases is because there's more screening, more testing in these types of facilities. If somebody might have been exposed who's immunocompromised, critical to get tested. There's more of these tests. But again, for healthy people, you might be exposed. Many of us might be colonized. We actually might be positive for it, just not know, because again, this lives in many people's bodies. But for those that are immunocompromised with an exposure or who are in one of these facilities, critical to be vigilant, critical for family members going in and out of the rooms, visiting their loved one, to wash their hands or use hand sanitizer. That's a big deal and helps cause transmission.
Dr. Gupta, we know this has been in the U.S. for a few years now, but it is on the rise. Is there a cause for concern at this moment? Are we there yet with the spread of this infection?
Not quite. These case clusters here in Washington state is emblematic of more screening, but again, not a threat to the general public. But this is a worrisome concern because, again, Valerie, there is not a ready treatment for this type of infection. So if everybody in a hospital is exposed to this, that would be worrisome. So for a subsegment of society, this is worrisome. We don't have great therapeutics. We have to practice adequate infection control measures. We have to build awareness. We have to make sure everybody's doing their can to stop the spread. But again, this is not the same type of threat that like COVID-19 was to everybody. This is a very narrow threat to a specific group of people.
All right, so certainly something to keep in mind. Dr. Vin Gupta, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Now to an alarming trend that is often sold as a dietary supplement, but what health officials are calling gas station heroin. The Federal Drug Administration is warning Americans to avoid drinks and pills containing an ingredient called tianeptine. They're often sold at gas stations and online, but some doctors and lawmakers say warnings are not enough. I spoke with a woman who said her addiction to the pills nearly cost her life. It's a drive Chrissy Reifschneider used to do on a regular basis near her home in Huntsville, Alabama.
See these little gas stations right here? Like the mom and pops. These are the places they would sell them.
Buying over-the-counter products dubbed gas station heroin, sometimes labeled as a dietary supplement and containing the synthetic drug tianeptine.
This is where I would come every day and come by 2 to 3 bottles a day.
At the height of her addiction, spending around $150 a day on the brand Tiana Reds that she says would give her energy, constantly using the pills to avoid withdrawals.
It's a dangerous drug. Just because it's legal and over the counters, I compare it to fentanyl and heroin.
So when they say gas station heroin, that's an accurate description?
It's an accurate description insofar that they're hitting similar receptors. It really acts a lot like an opioid.
Dr. William Rushton, a medical toxicologist and director of Alabama's Poison Information Center, says he and his colleagues began to sound the alarm in 2019 as calls from emergency room doctors began to pour in. Patients were being admitted to ICUs with concerning symptoms, some in the throes of a dangerous withdrawal.
It's not just when you take it, but it's when you stop taking it, becoming sort of very ill, very agitated, potentially having seizures.
The drug is legal in parts of Europe, prescribed as an antidepressant, but it's not approved in the U.S. for medical use. Alabama passed legislation in 2021 banning tianeptine, followed by several neighboring southern states. But despite the crackdown, the problem is growing.
We absolutely know now it's spreading throughout the rest of the country, and we're seeing it in the Northeast United States.
Nationwide, America's poison centers have seen a steady increase in calls. The Food and Drug Administration issuing warnings as recently as this year, focusing on the brand Neptune's Fix Elixir, linking it to adverse event reports of seizures, loss of consciousness, and death. Calling on retailers to stop selling the product and announcing that the maker has agreed to a voluntary recall. The company stating in a recall announcement, distribution channels have not reported any adverse events from the use of its products. NBC News reached out to the makers of Tiana Reds, Pegasus, Zaza, and Neptune's Fix for comment, but did not hear back. The FDA doesn't have the authority to approve dietary supplements for safety, but is now under pressure from a handful of bipartisan lawmakers, sending a letter to the agency in January stating the urgent need for FDA action on tianeptine cannot be overstated.
We need to empower the FDA to have sort of more regulation over a lot of these supplements out there so that we don't have to play defensive. We know we can play more offensive.
Reifschneider has now taken to social media warning others.
These things are the devil's candy.
Saying her withdrawal even led to thoughts of suicide.
Something switched in my brain, like this is how you need to end your life. This is it.
Sharing these pictures of herself during what she says were her darkest times. Describe the person that you see when you look back at those photos.
Death. I don't even know who she is. It's scary.
Now, almost 4 years sober and newly married, she's focused not only on her recovery, but sharing her story to help others.
I honestly never thought I would even be here. Everybody has a story, and I know you might not think something, could help someone, but one little thing can change someone's life.
Our thanks to Chrissy for sharing that story with us. Before we go, it's time for the future of everything. First it was Netflix, now Hulu and Disney Plus are cracking down on password sharing. We will explain, so stay tuned. Tonight in the future of everything, some bad news if you are among the many people that share your passwords for all your streaming platforms. Hulu is the latest cracking down. Our Stephanie Gosk explains why.
Oh my God. If you're hoping to spend the remaining winter months binging any one of Hulu's award-winning shows,
how's my budget looking?
Great.
Not good.
Starting soon, it could cost you extra. Hulu announcing they'll join streaming giants Netflix and Disney Plus in banning shared accounts outside individual households.
It's so stupid. Streaming sites companies are starting to become like cable.
Hulu sending an email to customers Wednesday announcing the update to their subscriber agreement, which says, unless otherwise permitted by your service tier, you may not share your subscription outside of your household.
This is an era where all these big companies need to make more profits out of streaming, and I suspect they're all looking at these different kinds of ways to kind of crack down on password sharing.
The move leaving many cord cutters frustrated.
I really hate to see things like this happen because these streaming services were seen as a much cheaper alternative to cable, but now they're just becoming cable.
The move comes after Netflix's success with its own password sharing crackdown, gaining the streamer almost 22 million new subscribers in about 6 months, totaling a record 260 million paid subscribers across the platform and almost $9 billion in revenue.
The fact that they have seen that Netflix has actually gained subscribers rather than losing them, so they're just thinking that they're also going to have the same outcome.
All this amid soaring streaming prices. Hulu plans with live TV cost nearly $80 a month. If you're looking to save, you can pay just $7.99 if you can forfeit live TV and put up with all those ads. And while streaming services are raking in the green, users are seeing red, wondering who's next.
Once Hulu starts doing it, then Amazon Prime, then Starz, then Paramount Plus, everybody else is going to follow. This is the new normal at this point.
Stephanie Gosk, NBC News.
That does it for us tonight. I'm Valerie Castro. We'll see you tomorrow, but until then, stay tuned now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.